that it was, in fact, an exercise. DHS Homeland Security is not confirming shots fired. They are not confirming any law enforcement activity. And our producer on the ground, who says he's been in touch with the Coast Guard, says it is an exercise. But all of this, of course, takes on greater significance given the anniversary today, because it's a day, as you may know, feels like no other, especially if you were in New York as I was that day.
And Catherine, as you were speaking, this report just hitting the wire saying that departures from Reagan National Airport, which is right there, it borders the Potomac, that the departures had been halted shortly after 10 a.m. as a precaution. No word yet on whether that has, on whether flight traffic has reopened, but departures were halted shortly after 10 a.m. as a precaution. This is, we get confirmation from the Coast Guard, as you point out, that it was indeed a, quote, training exercise. Catherine, does this, as somebody who's very familiar with our national security and those who are responsible for it, does this surprise you that the Coast Guard would be conducting this kind of a training exercise on 9/11 right near these bridges as President Obama travels to the Pentagon?
Well, it's, I want to find out more facts about the exercise and the events that unfolded this morning, but just speaking generally, they're exercising on a regular basis. You know, terrorism doesn't take a holiday just because it's 9/11. So I'd say that right out of the gate. Secondly, what the story may develop into is one where there was not good communication or coordination between Homeland Security, Coast Guard as part of Homeland Security, and the White House, and the transit of the president over to the Pentagon. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I think we want to stick to the facts as we know them. It's been a very confused picture in the last half hour, but the growing mountain of evidence that we seem to be getting in the newsroom is that it does appear it was an exercise, and perhaps a poorly timed exercise, and that it was not communicated well to those who would be in that area. As you mentioned, it's a very tight area in Washington, D.C. in terms of transiting the Potomac over to the Pentagon and also the memorials.
Indeed.